Good morning. Thank you, Nathan, for that nice introduction. Yes, I am Lis McKinley. I'm a certified professional organizer, and I am the owner of Let's Make Room based in Oakland, California. So real quickly about us. What we do is we help our clients to get organized, get moved, and get more done quickly and without judgment so that they have more time for what matters most to them. Okay, so that's enough about us. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to think differently about paper. But don't think of this as just another paper organizing system. It's really about you. So think about the place where you work now. Could be an office, could be a shared workspace, could be your home, maybe your dining room table, your garage. And I want you to, and I would invite you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine you're in this space. And everything is organized and uncluttered just the way you would want it. You're doing your work, you're managing your business, you're creating, you're in your zone. Now, try to think of a word or two that describes how you're feeling. And if you can't do that, then think of something that you could do that you can't do now if everything was organized just the way you imagine. And when you're ready, raise your hand. Great. Okay. So open your eyes, and if you like, write down the word or words that you thought of or the result that you imagined. And we'll get back to that. So how's everybody doing this morning? It's been some really interesting talks already, huh? Have you been inspired? Have you gotten some great information? How about paper? Have you collected any paper? I know I have. I've gotten a whole bunch of it already. So what do you think's going to happen when you get back to your office? Splat! It's going to end up with all the other piles on your desk, right? So what do you say we deal with it now? I want you to choose a piece of paper, any piece of paper that you've got. And if you don't have one, dig through your pockets, your purses, your wallets. I'm sure you will find something that you're going to have to deal with at some point. And here's what I want you to do. Look at that piece of paper and ask yourself this. Is there an action I want or need to take with this piece of paper that is important and worth my time? Again, is there an action I want and need to take with this piece of paper that is important and worth my time? And by the way, filing doesn't count. So what do I mean by action? Well, think verb. What is this paper prompting you to do? Do you need to call a customer or a client? Do you need to write your next blog post? Do you need to schedule a meeting or order an important piece of software? Because, folks, this is the paper that's worth your time. This is what's going to move your life and your business forward. Okay. So, what if there is no action that you need to take? Then ask yourself this. Is it likely that I will need or want to refer to this paper after today? And is it worth my time to contain? Again, is it likely that I will need or want to refer to this paper after today, and is it worth my time to contain? And by the way, I use the word contain instead of file because not all paper that we keep do we necessarily keep in a file cabinet. We may have some of it living on our desks, or we might have some of it living on a shelf or in a drawer or even in our cars. chances are this is the paper that you've got way too much of already, right? Okay. So do you really want to spend your time, your valuable business time, dealing with that paper? By the way, did anyone pick business card as their particular piece of paper? Because I have a tip for you around business cards. With a business card, only keep it if you're going to hire the person, or if there's a potential that you want them to hire you, or you want to invite them out for coffee, or a date. Think about it. Why would you keep a business card for someone you don't want to do business with, or someone you don't want them to do business with you, or someone you really have no interest in getting to know better, right? Okay. So, here's all you need to remember when it comes to paper. All paper, I don't care what it is either paper you're going to act on because it's going to move your life and your work forward, or it's paper that you're likely to keep because you're going to refer to it again and therefore you have to contain it, and everything else, toss. That's it. Act, contain, toss. And if you forget, just remember the acronym ACT, A-C-T, as in act, contain, toss. So remember that pile that you dumped on your desk? Now, think of that and all the other paper you have. It can now be reduced down to 3 things. And I'm going to ask you to tell me what they are. And whoever guesses it right is going to get some chocolate. So what's the first paper that you're going to, what's the first kind of paper that I mentioned? Anybody? Paper that you act on. Good job. Woo! Paper that you act on. And what's the second type of paper?
Paper you contain.
Paper you contain. Whoa! Okay, and everything else? Paper you can toss. Woo! Oh, sorry, missed you. Got it again. That's right. Paper you act on, paper you contain, and paper you toss. And that is it. Okay, so you recognize these? I cannot tell you how many times I've worked with clients who are challenged by paper who don't even really have one of these anywhere in their office. Recycle can, trash can, shredder. Folks, these are your best friends when it comes to organizing. Here's a tip for you. Keep them close to your desk and use them often. Okay, so what's going to stop you? Well, probably this guy. You know him? Meet Just in Case. You know, he's a nice guy, but he's a little nervous. He's a little fearful. He's actually afraid of paper. Well, he's afraid of tossing paper. Because here's what he's afraid of. He's afraid he might need it later, or he might miss it later, or he's afraid if he accidentally tosses it, it could cost him later. So what does he do? He keeps it all just in case. So let me ask you this. How many of you are behaving like just in case? Here's a tip for you. If you're not sure whether or not to keep a piece of paper, ask yourself, where else could you find that information if you needed it? Where else could you find the information on that piece of paper if you needed it? And here's another thing to think about. If you're stuck in fear, like just in case, you are in essence feeding your paper monster. So, the ACT system is pretty simple to understand, right? It's just act, contain, toss. But it's not necessarily easy to implement, at least not at first. It takes time to understand and apply the ACT system, But by applying it and practicing it, I promise you will not only begin to tame your paper monster, but you will begin to move even closer to that compelling image of organization that you had earlier, the one that you wrote down. And more importantly, you're going to have more time to manage your business and enjoy your life. This is the paper that makes the most difference, the ACT paper. Because as I said earlier, folks, it's not just about the paper. It's about you. So, have I got you to think differently about paper at all? Yeah. Great. I really know that it's hard to learn this system quickly, but if you want to know more about how to apply the ACT system on your own paper, come chat with me after the session today. I'm going to make it super easy for you to learn and practice the ACT system on your own paper if you'd like to work with me. And if you like what you heard today, I'd love to know. Please feel free to follow me on Facebook or on Twitter, or look me up on letsmakeroom.com. And don't forget to tell me that you met me at San Francisco Small Business Week. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.